Hello. Hello, how are you? Today is Thursday, and thank you so much for joining us in our art talks that we have at the Art Design Project. We are an online gallery representing around 30 something artists. We love them all as they are one. Um, we are moving ahead in this crazy week, seeing what's going on, and we are glad to know that people are being responsible for their actions, and I hope we can move with lots of peace and love in these couple of days that are coming. We want to welcome Juan Pablo Castro, a Colombian photographer based in Miami. We discovered his work a couple of years ago, and I was fascinated by the sense of a space and at the same time sense of volume in all his pieces. Juan Pablo is a very humble and nice person who is moving ahead in his fashion career as a photographer, but always wanted to be an artist. And through his eye, he actually achieved that. You know, we're gonna request all him to be part of the conversation, and we want to thank you very much for being part today. Thank you. Let's see. Juan Pablo is 10 times more technological than I am, so he will be on very soon. Let's see, where are you, Juan Pablo? Let's take a look. I think you have. Waiting for his connection. They should make a movie about these couple of moments where we're trying to connect. Juan
Well,
Pablo.
I have the phone upside down. Give me 1 second.
Yes, you do. How are you, Juan Pablo?
Everything okay? Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. You need to speak a little louder.
Okay.
Great, thanks. So, welcome to our Art Talk number 16. We are very grateful that you taking the time to talk to us about your work, the work that we represent, your career, what you're doing, and the message that is always throughout your pieces of art. So, we met how long ago?
Thank you, Juan Carlos. First, I want to tell you, I feel this is a privilege for you to have me in your conversation. I've been looking to the videos and the Instagram lives doing with different artists, and everyone, the artists are like very people that I admire their work. Colombian artists as well. So I feel very thankful with you for allowing me this opportunity. And talking about how we met, I had a coffee with Guy. The, he was the director of the Soho Beach House at that time. And we were exploring opportunities to see if there was a chance for me to show some of my work at the hotel, which I think is like an amazing experience to be. And he didn't meet you. He told me that you have the second floor. You were doing exhibitions every 2 or 3 months or something like that, and that maybe it would be an opportunity for me to connect with you and to see if I can show you my work. So then we had a meeting and I showed you some of my work. I love that when we met, you gave me a lot of guidance about how I can direct my work and see what would be the right direction for me to start because everything for me has been very new. Uh, I'm, I'm like very excited to connect and to start like selling pieces with you because everything has been a journey for me, learning from how I do the editions of the pictures to uh, organize the collection of images, even how to package the pictures for me has been like something new. So
It's
thank you.
new for all of us. I wanted to ask you something. Could you get a little closer to the mic? There is sound in the background. Yeah, yeah, perfect.
So
Yeah,
maybe if I hold it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually a fantastic piece of yours on the background. I can see that. But anyway, no,
Nice.
that's how we met, and you know, I was always grateful for the opportunity to be able to be open to learn, and you have moved ahead, you know, in wonderful ways. You're now having a great exhibition in a wonderful place called Pucci in Miami that I recommend everybody to go and see, and and then you know, let's talk about how you start. When do you took the first camera, you know, and how do you start to shoot pictures?
Mhm. That story is actually very funny because the first camera was a gift from my mom, and the last camera that I had was a gift from my mom as well. And what happened is that since I was like 5, 6 years old, I always will be attracted to cameras. You know, I will be like making videos whenever we were doing a trip with the family to Cartagena or San Andres or Santa Marta or anything like that. Will be always with the
You will be
camera
the
in my hand.
official photographer.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is that in Colombia, I don't know. I think it's like something cultural, maybe, that in Colombia, saying that you want to be a photographer, maybe it doesn't look too much of as a career. And what happened is that I always ask that mom to get me enrolled in a course or something where I can just learn. And I think my mom wasn't too attracted to enroll me in classes
You
because
wanted
she
to be
felt
a lawyer or a
it's
doctor.
exactly that's like the Colombian dream, you know.
Yeah,
You always have to end up like doing one of those careers when they consider that you can make good money. And what happened is that I I just follow my dream. When I moved here to Miami, I started to work as an assistant for different photographers. I really never studied photography, and I just start learning a lot. For me, that was like the best school ever. You know, going in and working in the productions, helping how to move stuff, helping how to organize the light the right way was the best school that I ever had.
it is.
So yeah. So like I say, if I talk to my mom about the photography right now, she is very supportive and has been like an amazing uh, has been very connected with my passion, and I feel very thankful for that. But at the beginning, when I say I want to be a photographer, they will think that you will end up taking passport pictures in a CVS or something like that, because that's basically the idea that people has in Colombia of being a photographer.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was basically
But you
the
came
story.
here to America wanted to be a photographer when you moved here, or you already started in Colombia?
No, the funny thing is that I studied industrial design, and I finished my career as an industrial design. So I was supposed to be drawing in 3D. I moved to Bogota before moving to Miami, and I work for a company designing bathrooms and kitchens, and the name of the company is Corona. I don't know if I can
Yeah,
say.
but
And I worked there like for 3 years. But then I just wanted to make my English better, and I decided to come to Miami for some time and finish my career as well. And uh, it wasn't in my mind to become a photographer. I think everything started to happen in a very natural way. I was always attracted when somebody called me to assist for a project. I was like all in and excited to work in any project. And little by little, I started to connect with people. I started to have a better eye, learn more. At the beginning, I would say that I was like copying some references of people and their work.
getting
Uh,
inspired, getting inspired.
yeah, getting inspired. Getting inspired by the others people's work. And it took me some time, like a couple of years, for me to get to a point when I would say, this is something that I love and I want to photograph this. And sometimes I feel that my point of view can be a little bit different than what you see some like with some other photographers, because I have as a background, I like to use 3 words to define my work, which is industrial, colors, and shape. I think the colors are coming from Colombia. I'm from Cali, and I grew up in the middle of the sunny days, and everything was color. Um, Shades because I studied industrial design, so for me it was like learning how to draw in 3D and working with different materials was something that connected me with shapes, and that's what I try to do when I photograph. That picture that we're seeing right now, for example, is a perfect example of the three concepts that I'm talking. You see the color, you see the shade, and then you see industrial, like for example, on top of that little house, it's PVC tube. Then you see the door, the wood, and that reminds me to what I used to see when I go to work with dad and mom when I was a kid. They would take me to work with them, and that was the elements that I will have around me.
Yeah, the thing of when I see your career, you keep doing lots of fashion work, for clients, and they're kind of like not always the same, the usual fashion that we see. You always take a little bit of a different approach, which make it really nice using all the space. So I see that somehow when you wanted to dedicate your artwork, to make an artwork, you really explore architectural volumes and spaces that are there, and then you really trying to document that sort of moment, of the night or the space. Like you go around and you pass. You mentioned to me that there are days they're passing and you don't even take one picture. You don't find it. Right? How does it work? How do you find out that that is the moment, piece, or structure that you want to photograph?
It happens to me that sometimes I go places and I start like usually when I'm traveling because of work. I do a lot of commercial work, and I like at the end of the trip go and walk around the city and see what could call my attention. Something that I did, for example, in Cuba is I start walking in the city and I will ask the police, where is the beach? And they will say that way. And then I will move the other way. I like to go when I can see different stuff and to see the sense or of what can be the city and more. Also, it happened to me in Rome, for example, that I would walk. I was walking the city a lot. I think that Rome was such a impressive city. It was very crazy for me to see that city the way it looks, and I was admiring everything around me. But it was very difficult for me to find something that I would feel attracted to photograph because I feel that I already have an aesthetic, and the city didn't have that aesthetic. But at the same time, when you were mentioning about my connection with fashion, I think sometimes I go a little crazy with the images, and that's something that can be difficult to understand for people that work in the fashion industry. I feel that right now, what's happening with uh, photography and fashion is that the trend is to go very natural with the colors and to go very simple. It doesn't. They don't tend to go. Photographers are not tending to go too crazy as I am sometimes. Uh, so I actually sometimes have a little bit of trouble with the agencies because I connect with the models, and sometimes I work in personal projects, so I do test photography. And when I come back with the pictures, you know what they were expecting, and they feel like maybe the pictures won't be exactly what they were needing for the book of the model. But I feel that that's exactly what is making me different, and that is calling the attention of other people. And at the same time, after working with different people, that is uh, I would say powerful in the fashion industry, like a good makeup artist or good stylist, they feel attracted to work with me because they think that I can give to their portfolio a little edgy look. So yeah, that's
Right.
basically
Okay.
what I do with
Yeah,
that.
you certainly explain a lot. What you really do when you're doing, and that's great that you're able to articulate, your vision. And then when you go back to these spaces, going back to the architectural spaces or the moments of volumes of different messages that you find in the street or and throughout your trips, how do you find out that that's the right way to communicate and to say the right expression, you know?
You know, for me, that's actually something that I've been learning through you too. That whenever I work in something, I actually just during the quarantine that I was organizing all my files and cleaning the computer and doing all this, like looking to my files. I found a group of images that have been taken under a bridge, and that's kind of the same that happened with the signs as well. I just felt like I wanted to photograph that element, and then I had so many pictures of that was calling my attention that at the end it ended up becoming like a series of photos for me. So
Yeah,
it's not
they
for me. It's
are.
not
They are.
only like taking a picture of a sign. I think that sign needs to have certain elements for me to photograph it. For example, in the example that we're seeing right now, I mean, that word joy is very uh, important word, I would say, in my life. I actually have a wall with that word on stickers, like I put it with stickers. And, and also the show that you mentioned before with Rolf, I also call it Joy. And I feel that right now with everything that is happening, uh, we as artists we have the opportunity to show a different perspective of how the work can be and not focus only on the negativity. I think that sometimes actually I get a little frustrated with news and whatever I read online that can be putting some too much attention to negative posts and to negative news, and at the end that only because I experienced it myself, it ended up becoming bringing my energy down and feeling disconnected from what I can create. I decided sometimes I decide just not to watch the news because I feel that instead of spending time connecting with negativity, I think it's important to keep yourself informed, of course, but I think it's also important to use your time creating positive things for the world. And that's actually one of the goals that I have as an artist. I think if I can get to a point when I can grow and uh, leave a big impact in people's mind, I would like to create through my works opportunities to communities and work with the environment and some other stuff that actually I've been doing. I've been working with organizations that plant trees in Miami, and I was like 2 years ago working with an organization that they help restaveks, which is the kids that are in Haiti being abused. So by their parents, they don't have money to pay their school, so they send them to the city and they become prostitutes and they become slaves. So little by little, I've been growing and making that happen.
Yeah,
So
that's great. That's fantastic. And then your photographs and your art pieces, what we sell throughout the art design project and RC and First Tapes and Arts in Paris. You know, these limited edition prints that you do, when you decide the size, um, you have several dimensions and you go, you know, the quality of the print and the image and the touch. And preparations such as this particular image of the dollar bill that is so symbolical, you know, how do you come decided to just open a circle on it? Why what's the message there?
So I think this picture has a lot of personal meaning too. I have become sober. I used to be someone that would like to have a lot of fun, and when I decided that when I will be 30 years old, I would stop drinking and partying. You know, I didn't want to go. I mean, doesn't mean that I don't have fun anymore, but I wanted to stop with the drinking and become
Just have
more
fun in
serious.
different ways. Yes.
Yeah. So while that was happening, I was researching a lot about what was happening with symbols and the way I was driving and connecting my photography. And I found a lot of stuff that was disconnecting me from my spiritual path. But I don't want to go too deep in that way. I just feel that it was too crazy for me to realize that the symbol that I got in the bill was in the $1 bill, and I felt that I wanted to give a message through that picture. I used a yellow T-shirt underneath. It was a very simple production behind that image. I cut the symbol and then I put that I used to usually give a message through the caption of my pictures. I put as a caption to this picture Bob Marley and the Wailers, Could You Be Loved? There is a part of the song that says, don't let them fool you or even try to school you. Excuse my the way I sing. But that was basically my message. You know, I think that that bill has so much transit in the whole country, and there is a symbol in that bill that sometimes we don't pay attention to what's happening around us, and that was basically the message that I wanted to give through that picture.
Always looking up and always looking, and you go in between the message of something so simple such as a dollar bill to find the encounter of two constructions, looking up, looking at the sky, something that we do every day, but really encapsulated in a message, which is a bit of an optimistic photograph for me, looking up. We always looking up and we just find out that it's there. But, this time, the power of the man, and we have built always the sky is a bit above of that. So how does it come when you look up and just to choose to decide to photograph something so simple and minimal in a way?
I think, for example, I love Instagram stories. I think that that's a way for me to show my eye and everything that I've been learning while studying photography from, I would say, from Google. You know, I will go and start looking the work of other photographers, and that's basically the way I started to connect with what will be my vision. In that moment, for example, the picture that we're seeing right now, that's in Los Angeles. I was outside of the Broad Museum, and I just thought it was so beautiful standing up right in the middle. I think I was like just sitting there, and when I look up, then I see these two elements that are looking so cool, and I say I have to take this picture. You know, for me, when I finished school, I thought that I was going to study architecture because I always feel connected to shapes, and architecture is something very important for me when I do photography too. And so yeah, that's basically the description of
Yeah,
that picture.
we
Not
can
only
see that, we can see that in all the sort of architectural details that you decide to encounter, that a bit of a futuristic kind of way, in the size and the structure that you wanted to contain and encapsulate within this sort of small eye that you can control in the camera.
yeah, I think for me, I take when I'm looking at my pictures, I don't only pay attention to one thing. Like for example, if it's just a structure and it looks beautiful in the picture that we had before this one, for example, I love the way the sky is looking in that moment. I think it has to be a mix of different elements. The sky, for example, is a very important element in the pictures, especially for me because I tend to photograph public spaces, and everything that I take pictures is just stuff that you can see on the street.
Yeah.
Um, so same for this picture, for example, not only that we have that beautiful structure there that I feel I want to find the right angle and take a nice picture, but also the end is very clear and very wide. And as you say, for me, I always think in a very, also when I do fashion, I try to think in a way where I will connect with the future. And I think that my future is not the future that a lot of people could imagine when everything is super technologic, but I see a future that is a little bit deconstructed and not too pretty. It's like, for me, it's like, if you think, for example, of a movie like The Matrix, it's not that
The future
super.
that you think is gonna be.
I have the future
I hope
disconnected,
not.
which is,
Yes.
yeah, which is like destroyed, like not that pretty. And I think that that's kind of where I tend to go. Also, I like when things looks very funky. For example, when it has a little, for example, this picture that we see in the back, for me is like a super funky. I mean, it's very
It is actually a very funky, but at the same time incredibly serious. You know, you took this picture a couple of years ago, and we sold it a couple of times, and it's just to see that the message is so relevant for what is happening this week. We are in a
exactly.
chaos.
Exactly, but then, like I say, for example, with the captions, what I did is I called the picture "Have Some Skittles." So I'm having that double message there when it talks a little bit about the drama that we can be living in our life, but then with the name of the picture, "Have Some Skittles," I'm just like, take it easy and relax, which is part of, I think, I am as a person. I try always to think in both directions. We have one element that is very negative, but how we can transform this negativity into something positive. Because I think that also when you have those moments of so much craziness and chaos, then it's when the good ideas pop up, or like some good ideas could come to your mind. So it's part of what I do. I have a couple of pictures here too, in case.
Yeah, we're gonna get there very soon. I would love to get a little tour. If later, a little bit, we're gonna try to get advantage of the slides that we prepare for you, of the pictures that we represent, and to talk about the connectivity. You know, you have this sort of situation where you're trying to connect also metal structures, things that are part of a construction, but always trying to find a beauty within them. You know, it's between the connectivity of a phrase to the imaginary spaces that you can achieve photographing structures, to now the connectivity of cables or metal structures. Is that fascination come because from your in this industrial design background?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's part of the industrial design background. Also, as I say, my dad and my mom used to have a hardware store in Cali, and I grew up in the middle of these materials. I know how that was made, for example. And I also will say that I like to do a little bit of color manipulation, because of the industrial design. I think learning how to use all the suite of Adobe teach me how to play with things. And sometimes, when you talk of photography, there is a lot of people that go against that, like using you're supposed to go natural, and you're supposed to use things in a way and show things in a way where everything has to be normal. But I like to have it a little twist in the pictures that will make the picture more interested, and not only interested, but leave my own signature in the picture. For this picture, I think that part of what happened with this picture is because of a conversation that we had, where you show me some directions, where I could go, where if we would work together, what would be the kind of images that you would like. And that I remember making a presentation to you after this picture, where I was just going in that direction and trying to connect with the kind of images that I felt Juan Carlos would like for us to work together.
Yeah, no, I think that is a freedom of expression that you have through your camera. But our goal is always to trying to, we have 30 something artists that we represent, and the majority of them are artists who are becoming photographers, or established photographers who are becoming artists. And then we just always trying to keep a direction, and your creativity, in order to be able to create, to tell a story, and you have done this in a great way, just through your work. You know, you're very careful about what you choose and what you wanted to photograph, but always keep in mind, you know, that it's a continuity, you know, and the work of the structures and the work of the connections and the work of the phrases. And that is quite interesting because that is what is going to give longevity to your work. You know, seeing these amazing sort of structures that are so simple, but you cannot identify them where they are, is that will make it mysterious. That's what you wanted to say?
Yeah, yeah, and for me also that I think that by taking this picture, it helped me to refine my work and start seeing things in a different way, where I could transform all that deconstructed image that I have in my mind into something more elegant. For example, with the picture that we had before, something that happened to me is that I like to photograph models next to a sculpture, for example. And I went online and I tried to find. I was in Berlin in that moment. I was doing a project for Mont Blanc through my friend Gio. We were creating video. We were doing video there,
I know,
and
I know he's a wonderful guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Gio is very cool. Yeah, and I had the opportunity to go and take a picture of this sculpture in a moment when I wasn't working, and I think it's like I say, it's not only photographing something that you see just for photographing it. I think it needs to have a lot of elements that they need to play with what you're doing. I'm not only, like I say, playing with the sky and the angle, but I'm also using the right lens uh, for what I want to express. So yeah, that's basically the
Yeah.
connection with the elements and the.
Yeah, no, I can see it in all of this sort of series, you know, which is fantastic how you encounter them and trying to, they're very musical in a way, you know, they're very musical, I would say that. So we did a couple of online exhibitions in our gallery where you were part of, and this is one of them, and we show, you know, how beautiful the large scale images are, you know, in a way. We sold this piece to a client of us, and it was spectacular. It also was part of an exhibition at the Soho House, you
Mhm.
know, a piece and this piece too.
Thanks to
Okay.
you, Juan. Thanks to you.
Yeah, no, please, it's our pleasure. And then we did, you know, we came up to see the scale. I want, you know, you hear next to two pieces of Guillermo Licurgo, which we interviewed yesterday, and to see the piece real life, you know, in such a large scale is actually so timeless, you know.
And,
Um,
the,
that
and that's
is,
actually that's actually something that people tell me all the time. And they think that I should go big with the images. And to be honest with you, from the pictures that I have printed, there are no too many that are small size. Like everything has been like big. People wants to go big with these images, even when I feel that they are so bold. Because for example, the one that we were seeing of the fountain that we actually sold it through you. Uh, that picture is very. I feel that it can be very impacting. In a way. There's people that tell me, "What is that? Like, is that painting?"
relaxing in a way.
Relaxing in that way. And talking about that piece, for example, I like that and connecting with what you're saying. I think it has a little plane in one side. It was a fountain that I photographed in Washington, and I remember you. I think that you noticed that it has a little plane in the back in the
Yeah.
moment that we printed, because those are the little twists that I like to have in the pictures that I do.
And that's what is making it fun, you know. Even when you go to Rome, like you mentioned before, and you photograph this statue, and then it looks part like a spatial, you know, and you choose always the black and white situation in some areas of your work, and that make it a bit more dramatic.
Yeah, I think black and white usually tends to bring your work to a very elegant side. And in this case, for example, I like it that it has a little bit of, it's very Renaissance, the image, but at the same time, if you see, for example, the sculpture, the people that is in the, I don't know if it's people, but like the elements that are under the main sculpture, they look a little weird and a little like their head look smaller and a little bit like alien. So for me, it needs to have those elements for me to feel like, okay, this is connecting with my vision, which as I say is more like visionary and futuristic than just taking a normal or regular picture.
Yeah, we would love to see your space. Are you at your office?
No, I'm not going to the office right now. We
Yeah,
are, but I may be coming soon. I
yeah.
would love to show you that I know that you fell in love with
Yes,
the space.
would love to. I would love to see the space that you, with the pictures that you have there, for people to understand. A bit of the better than the slides. Can you show us?
Yeah, I'm at my apartment right now. So I have a couple of pictures that I printed. One of them is for a friend, my friend Juan Peñalosa, by the way, that there is your picture in case you see this video. But this, for example, is just a picture that says thank you. Um, Again, it's not just a simple sign, but something that I will feel it's connecting with the way I feel. I have no words to describe how I'm feeling with everything that is happening right now with my work, even when we're living such a crazy experience right now. So super thankful with the opportunities, thankful with you, Juan, for also for the opportunities that you gave me. And then I have this other picture that it was just
You
this
need to
sign
put
that
the phone a little lower, Juan, because I cannot see it.
sorry.
Yeah.
It was just a
So
little sign that says dance. Uh, I just thought it was so cool to see that sign
a little
uh,
lower.
there
We
through
cannot
the.
see it. We cannot see it. Yes. Perfect.
It said, yeah. And then if I go closer, in each window, the person, whoever was living in that space, put the word dance. And I guess at nighttime would be also an amazing picture because it had some lights. Uh, so, like I said, it just made me smile. And I think that that's something that I would love to reflect in people's mind, which is making them smile if it's possible. This is also another crazy thing that I photographed before. It was just like the between the sun and the stove. We got this crazy, ugly. Maybe can be like a little disturbing for people's mind, but I thought it was perfect, like connecting it, for example, with what's happening with the environment right now. The plastic has been so bad for the environment, and that for me is like a little criticism in my own way. I call it the series of pictures. I took the 5 pictures of the cups, positioning the cups in a different way, and I call the project "The Party's Over." Because for me, I think we've been so abusive with the environment and with what's happening with the world, and that was the perfect way to show it for me and to express myself.
What kind of message do you want to express to everybody that is out there, you know, claiming for justice, trying to keep themselves healthy, but at the same time creating? I always believe that the artists have such a great voice, and it's the perfect time to perhaps use it. What is the message that you want to say to them?
I would say be stubborn about what you believe and go with the flow. Just enjoy whatever is happening around you. Sometimes takes for me it has been such a long journey, and I have to accept everything that is happening around me for me to be able to enjoy. If we are not enjoying what we're doing, then we're lost. I think that would be my message.
Yeah. Well, we're really very proud. I think what you are doing is fantastic, and we thank you so much for the amazing opportunity to talk about it, about your work, about where you are now. What are your plans? What's next?
Thank you, Juan. I just have to say thank you for this opportunity. That for me is just like some. I feel like I'm stretching my mind by doing these kind of things, and I have to say thank you for guiding me and for walking with me through this whole experience, because everything for me in the I didn't I would say I have some connection with the art, but I was never I didn't know too much, and you've been super patient with me and teaching me a lot of stuff that I was needing to learn for me to continue moving forward.
That's,
Uh,
thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I try to share a little bit of what I know with everyone to make them better. But what is next? What is your project? What do you think is going to happen for you? Where are you now? You know, tell us about your exhibitions. Where are you? What you're doing?
well, right now, as you say, we are having a show at Rock Pucci, which has been like a very nice experience for me. What we're doing right now, we're having visits every 15 minutes. We love people to come and see what we're doing. It's a little escape from what is happening right now with the world. And I think my main focus is fashion and art, and that's what I've been working on, like connecting a lot with those two uh, ideas that I have of how I can make my life uh, through what I do. You know, like to live my that's like my professional side, and something that I always share with people. It took me a long time for me to make my joy my job. Uh, make make my like make create a job of, from what I love to do, which is my hobby. Photography, I would say, is my hobby. So I never feel like I'm working really. I just
Yeah.
want to continue enjoying and focusing those two things. If it's possible to continue growing in the art industry and the fashion industry, I think that will make me happy.
It's important to highlight something that I forgot, that the portrait that have appeared through these 16 talks that we have done and more to come. You know, tomorrow we're going to have an extraordinary local photographer from Miami, Casey Waterman. And then next week, just to let you know, I'm doing a series of book publishers, people that have dedicated their life to publish books about art, to publish books about design and architectural. We're going to have people from Mexico, from Spain, from different parts of the world, friends that I'm been lucky to have my projects in, or that I don't have it and I wish I have them. But also highlight that my portrait was taken for you, and that's the portrait that I'm been using this entire 2 weeks of talks, and I'm planning to use for the rest. So it was very nice for you to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank
Juan,
you.
thank you so much for showing us your work. I invite everybody to go and see your exhibition, also to log in to our website where they can acquire your work. We have several editions and left on some of your work. We had an RC and First Steps and Artsper in Paris and our website. So thank you very much for joining us today in our number 16 talk.
Thank you, Juan, for the opportunity, and also thank you for letting me take that portrait of you. I appreciate that you like it and that you're using it a lot.
I like it. I think my request was to only see my face.
Cool. No, it looks amazing. I love it. It's a very cool
Be
picture you
safe.
took it at your apartment.
Thank you. Be
Which is
safe.
amazing.
Stay healthy, you
Thank
know,
you.
and keep spreading good energy and good work. And I see
Thank
you
you.
guys
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much. See
you,
you
Juan
soon.
Pablo.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.